Like, you ain't supposed to teach every Israelite, man. You should know a tree by its fruit. The Lord said, don't cast your pearls before swine, and don't give that which is holy unto dogs.
Let the unjust be unjust too.
That's right. If they unholy or unjust, let them be. The Lord gonna destroy their ass, man. It's gonna be righteous, yeah. And ass is in the scriptures, man. Okay? Don't get offended. Keep reading.
Mark chapter 4, verse 5.
Yeah.
Mark chapter 4, verse 5. And some fell on stony ground, where it had not much earth.
It didn't have much earth. Okay? So when this word get kicked out, it might fall on some of the people, of our people. Alright? But they don't have no depth to them, man. They surface Israelites, man. You know, they on the surface. Keep reading.
And immediately it sprang up.
I'm an Israelite, you know. Yeah. Immediately they got into this. They seemed like they was on fire. All right, we have examples of that. We got Ayash, aka Charles Pittman. Okay, keep reading.
It sprang up because it had no depth of the earth.
But
when the
6. Okay.
But when the sun was up, it was scorched. And because it had no root, it withered away.
It said when the sun rose up, it was scorched. Now, in this parable, the sun represents tribulation. Okay? Because just like if you was planting plants or vegetation, right? And it starts to spring up and it doesn't have enough depthness, the roots haven't went deep enough to sustain its moisture. If it doesn't rain or whatever, the sun constantly beating on it, it's gonna wither and dry up.
That's where you get all the nutrients from the roots. That's where all the minerals and all that stuff is in.
That's right. Go to Luke 8 and 6. All right. So the Lord's comparing these type of our people, which they make up the 2/3. We're gonna prove they make up the 2/3. All right. But they are those guys that come in, and then eventually when the stuff really hits the fan, when shit hits the fan, they're gonna fall off. Okay? Because hell's about to come on these people, man. You know that, right? Huh?
So about to come on what people?
Negros, Latinos, and Native Americans. Alright?
So hell is about to come on Latinos, Native Americans, and
Negros.
Really everybody. Hell. So hell as far as what, like hell, like what, like hell on earth, or like the lake of fire hell, or?
Well, when you look up the word hell in the Bible, all right, it's not talking about no subterranean area where you burn forever. Okay, in the Hebrew, it's sha'awal, which means the grave or pit. Okay, in the Greek, there's 3 words. Okay, the main 2, because one is only mentioned once, but I forgot how to pronounce it. But the other 2, which is mentioned a lot in the Gospels, we hear the Lord talk about hell. Okay, it's one that's called Hades, which just means the same thing, grave, the pit, and then there's one called Gehenna. Okay, when he's referring to hellfire. Now, what is he talking about? It was a place back over there in Jerusalem, which was known as the Valley of Hammon, or in ancient time, where our people was back in Israel, where they used to sacrifice Molech, which was a fire god that was of these other nations, mainly the children of Ammon, okay, which would be the so-called Japanese, all right, where they would sacrifice their children unto Molech. They would put them in the fire and they would kill their babies, all right. So our people got heavy into that, and they used to practice that in the Valley of Hammon, which is also known as the Megiddo, okay, if I'm saying it right, all right. But that was defiled during the time of King Josiah of Judah, fulfilling prophecy, because he had destroyed all the idolatry in Judah, and he destroyed.
He got the gospel out there. He dug it up at the temple, right?
Huh?
When he found the old scrolls in the temple, right?
Yeah, when they was repairing the temple, and they found the laws, and then Josiah repented, and then he went and he just destroyed all the idols and stuff. All right, and he fulfilled that prophecy that was spoken about him when he destroyed the 2 golden calves that King Jeroboam set up that was over the 10 tribes.
So let me ask you this, like, for y'all being out here, like, what's your mission? Like, what's the core of what you believe? You know what I mean? Like, I'm assuming Black Hebrew.
We're Israelites.
Israelites. Okay, like what's the core?
I mean, they label us Black Hebrew Israelites, but not all of us are so-called Black people. You know, because you got
pigmentation, bro. I ain't really, I guess, trying to go that deep with it. You know what I mean? I mean, we all black men. You know what I'm saying? We're men of color. You know what I mean?
Nah, because the so-called Negros or so-called blacks, all right, the ones that of Negro descent that was brought over here on slave ships, they're the tribe of Judah. The ones that were sent to the West Indies, all right, those tribe of Benjamin, those that were sent to what they call Haiti.
All right. So as far as like the whole diaspora, you know what I'm saying? Like, what does that fall in all of that? Like, cause I mean, you know, slaves came from so many different nations. You know what I mean? So many different African nations. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, you talking about when they was
what would I guess classify one African tribe that came over on slave ships as
from another one
from Israelites, as opposed to
those
group that came on slave ships?
Those so-called Africans, all right, which the first so-called black people that was shipped from that side of the world, the eastern part over here, were not from Africa. They were from Spain and Portugal. They were the Moors. Okay, but most people don't know that. Okay, and they were shipped towards.
So are those Israelites?
Those are Israelites too. Those of Moorish descent.
So are there any, I guess, men of color that aren't?
Yes. You got other nations that could pass for us that are not of our people. For example, Ethiopians. You know, Ethiopians, Somalians. According to the Bible, they're Cushites. They come from a man named Ham. Okay, but they're not of our people. Last week we had a guy come up here. He was Somalian, and he looked like I could pass for his cousin, or we could be brothers. But he's of a whole nother different people.
So is hell coming on him as well? Like,
yeah, he's gonna be destroyed.
So let me ask you this, like, because I'm vaguely familiar with with what you guys study and teach. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I study the word too. You know what I'm saying? I have a little different belief system as far as like some of the stuff that's taught, like as far as like how the black man is gonna rule over the white man,
we're gonna
all these
rule
other nations and stuff like that. And as far as like how it's kind of like when I just in my studies, man, and then my trying to understand where y'all was coming from. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, okay, let me try to trace it back to the root of where it all got started. You understand what I'm saying? And from what I gathered, and just from hearing the doctrine, it seems to kind of be steeped in a little bit more of like.
You want us to prove it?
More. Well, I mean, you can show me. You can show me what you. All right. I mean, show me what you got, man. Let's chop that for it.
All right. Go to Isaiah 61. Start from the top.
Start from the top.
All right. And we're just gonna break it down. The other nations, they're going under slavery under the children of Israel. It was always set up from them.
It was set up for that from when?
From hell, we can go back to Genesis.
Let's start at Genesis. All right.
Let's go back to Genesis. Go Genesis 17. We went through this last week, but I mean we could touch it. Go 1 through 8.
Yeah, I mean it's my first time. You know what I'm saying? Coming to chop it up. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure what you said, Larry. Bring me up to speed.
All right.
Genesis chapter 17, verse 1. And when Adam was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Adam. Not Adam. Abram. And said unto him,
you know what Abram is? He's going to be changed to, his name is changed. No, Abraham.
Abraham.
Okay.
I am the mighty power which before me, and be thou perfect. I will make